The King's Curse, The Secret of His Seventh Wife, Part 3, Final Edition. Leora and the remaining queens ran through the dark, twisting corridors of the castle, the creature's monstrous presence ever looming behind them. It moved like smoke, slipping in and out of shadows, its grotesque form always just at the edge of their vision. They could hear its twisted laughter echoing through the halls, its voice promising that there was no escape. But Leora refused to believe that. Somewhere deep inside her, a small flicker of hope remained, and she clung to it like a lifeline. As they raced through the castle, Leora's mind worked furiously, trying to remember anything that might help. There had to be something, some way to stop the creature. Then she remembered the ancient text the king had once spoken of, a forgotten passage hidden in the royal library. It mentioned a power that could bind evil, a light that could banish the darkness. Leora, what are we going to do? Calith asked, her voice frantic as they stumbled through the corridors, panting and exhausted. I have an idea, Leora said, her voice steady with resolve. The library. There's something there. We need to find it. With renewed determination, they ran toward the library, the creature's chilling whispers growing louder, its voice mocking them at every turn. But Leora knew they were close. The answer was just beyond reach. They burst into the grand library, the towering shelves filled with ancient books and scrolls, and Leora immediately began searching through the dusty tomes. Help me find the oldest book you can, she ordered the others, her fingers trembling as she scanned the shelves. The minutes stretched into what felt like hours as the queens frantically searched through the labyrinth of knowledge. At last, Leora's hand brushed against a large, ancient volume tucked in the shadows. The leather-bound cover was worn with age, its title barely legible, but she knew this was the one. She threw it open on the grand table and flipped through the pages until she found it. An ancient ritual, one that spoke of banishing spirits of darkness. The words were in a language so old, it was nearly forgotten, but Leora had studied enough to understand the essence of it. The light that can bind the dark, she whispered. We need to use the relics of the queens. Their souls are tied to this place. They are the key. The queens exchanged nervous glances, but Leora's conviction gave them courage. Each of them had brought something from their past, relics of their time in the castle. A locket, a ring, a bracelet, each one tied to their soul, to their history in this cursed palace. As they gathered the items, the creature appeared at the door, its monstrous form filling the room with an overwhelming sense of dread. You cannot stop me, it hissed, its eyes glowing with malevolent hunger. This place is mine. But Leora stood her ground. With trembling hands, she placed the relics in a circle on the floor, chanting the ancient words from the book. The other queens joined her, their voices growing louder as the creature slithered closer, its twisted body coiling like smoke, ready to strike. A blinding light suddenly erupted from the circle of relics, filling the room with a warmth and power that had long been absent from the castle. The creature screeched, recoiling from the light, its once powerful form beginning to fade. No, it screamed, thrashing against the force. You cannot defeat me. I am eternal. But the light grew stronger, enveloping the room, and the creature's screams turned into desperate wails as it was slowly pulled toward the center of the circle. Leora felt a surge of energy coursing through her, the power of the past queens, of Elora's sacrifice, of the castle itself joining together in one final act of defiance against the darkness. With a final, bone-chilling scream, the creature dissolved into nothingness, its essence consumed by the light. The room fell silent, the oppressive weight of evil lifting at last. The queens collapsed in relief, tears streaming down their faces. The creature was gone, the curse truly broken. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, the castle was still, peaceful. Leora stood, her legs shaking, and looked around at the others. They had survived. Against all odds, they had survived. And they were free. "We did it," Calith whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Leora smiled, her heart full of gratitude and relief. "Yes," she said softly, "we're free now." The castle itself seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, the heavy shadows retreating, the once darkened halls now bathed in warm light. The doors, which had been sealed by the creature's dark magic, opened with a soft creak, the fresh air of the outside world flooding into the palace. For the first time in years, the queen stepped out into the sunlight. The sky was clear, the air crisp and filled with the scent of freedom. The nightmare was over. Leora turned to the castle one last time. Though it had been a place of great suffering, it had also become a place of redemption. Ellora's sacrifice had not been in vain. They would always remember her and the dark history of the king's curse, but now they could move forward, free of the darkness that had haunted them for so long. As they walked away, the castle stood tall behind them, no longer a place of torment, but a silent witness to their triumph. And as the sun set on the horizon, the queens knew that they had been given a second chance at life, one they would cherish forever. The end. If you like this story, then subscribe the channel and don't forget to like this video.